Books can truly be timeless. No matter how many generations down the line we go, The Cat in the Hat and Green Eggs and Ham will likely always be around. The same can be said for staples in the fantasy book world, such as Harry Potter or even The Wizard of Oz. Yet it seems, given how a lot of these classics were written during a time when, well, society wasn't as progressive or forward-thinking as they currently are, it seems none of them are safe. As you've likely heard, a few Dr. Seuss books have officially stopped being produced and published, citing racial and insensitive imagery. To no surprise, some cared more than others, but in the grand scheme of things, it's probably best for everyone to move on and collectively agree some of the books really weren't all that beneficial. That being said, every year the American Library Association's Office of Intellectual Freedom posts a handful of books that have either been banned or challenged in libraries and schools, citing concerned parents. Some of the books on today's list may surprise you as we count down the top 10 children's books that might get banned on InformOverload. Smash that like button and let's go. Kicking things off at number 10, the Harry Potter series. Now this actually has nothing to do with the controversial remarks J.K. Rowling has made over the last few years. Although many have also been citing that the series gets cancelled for reasons relating to not wanting to support the novel's author, or more specifically her views on certain things, it seems parents are more concerned about something else. Specifically citing an incident back in 2001, a group of parents in Lewiston, Maine feared that the book promoted some rather unfortunate things. We're talking violence, witchcraft, and worshipping the devil. So you know, that's bad. Okay. Although the group didn't pull off what they originally set out to do, which was burden all the books in a pile, they instead opted to just cut them up. Thankfully the fire department stopped them before anything serious happened, and that's probably for the best because I heard if you burn the books, you just release all the evil spirits and devil hiding inside, so I wouldn't want to do that. On to number 9, A Light in the Attic. The book was published in 1981 by famous children's author Shel Silverstein, who was also responsible for the likes of Falling Up, The Giving Tree, and of course, Light in the Attic. Now it seems the first two books I mentioned are all good, but The Light in the Attic is problematic for a couple reasons. Little rhyme there, call me the next Dr. Seuss. One of those reasons is that it encourages kids to break dishes, and another is that it glorified Satan. Yeah, this is a wild one, folks. More specifically, in 1986, an elementary school in Wisconsin actually banned the book because they claimed the poems not only glorified Satan, but also eating other people, taking your own life, and being disobedient. Another school didn't want to carry the book because, as per the school, it, I quote, encourages children to break dishes so they don't have to dry them. I don't even have the words. I don't even know, guys. I'm at a loss for words. On to number 8, A Wrinkle in Time. Written by Madeleine L'Engle in 1962, this book appears to have irked religious groups in particular, which seems to be a rather common theme on today's list. The issue these groups have with the book is that it undermines their beliefs and challenges their idea of God. And for that reason alone, it's been on the ALA's most 100 frequently challenged books from 1990 until 2009. I mean, it's still on the list now, so it was likely never taken off the list since 1990. And the first year it debuted on the list, it seems the entire Anniston, Alabama school district voiced concerns which led to the controversy we're still dealing with today. They objected to the book's content, specifically its reference to Jesus Christ's name, alongside other notable names such as Buddha, Gandhi, and Shakespeare being the defenders of Earth against evil. Their issue was comparing Jesus to other leaders, I quote, implied that Christ was not divine. So take from that what you will. Moving on to number 7, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Written in the form of a diary from the point of view of the book's main character, Margaret, an 11-year-old girl who tries to understand religion and how it aligns with her life through a school project. You guys see where I'm going with this one? But it seems there's more to it than just the religious aspect that has irked people over the years. Aside from the religious aspect of things, it seems the book also talks about natural occurrences that happen when one goes through puberty. Your body starts to change, you start to feel certain ways about people. You guys know how awful puberty is. And in this book, they mention that, with Margaret talking about her feelings for some of the boys in her class, her desire to one day get a bra, and of course, dealing with her first period. Well, this didn't sit well with a library in an Ohio school, who tried to get the book banned in 1983 for being, I quote, built around just two themes: sex and anti-Christian behavior. In 1985, another school district in Montana tried to challenge the book, citing it being profane, immoral, and offensive. As of now, no dice, but with the way we're going, who knows, just give it some time, right? At number 6, James and the Giant Peach. Now you guys may be wondering, how could a book about a boy and a large peach be considered problematic? Well, it's a Roald Dahl book, and in general, although they are children's books, they're seen as having some evil adult characters quite consistently. However, rather than going for the author's writing style altogether, people have tried to get this specific book banned as it appeared on the American Library Association's most challenged books of 1990 to 1999. It's still there, along with another incredibly popular book by Dahl, The Witches. Going back to the peach, well, people have cited it simply being too scary for the target audience. Others point to to mysticism, sexual innuendos, profanity, racism, references to alcohol and tobacco, the list goes on and on. Specifically referencing the innuendos, a religious group once argued that the part of the book where a spider licks her lips could be taken the wrong way. Again, I won't say much, just stating facts, but I did just lick my lips, so hopefully you guys aren't too turned on. Halfway at number 5, the Scary Story series. You guys may know it as Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark or just Scary Stories. This series, written by Alvin Schwartz, is actually one of the most challenged books in the American library system. People really seem to have issues with the series as it depicts some pretty scary stuff, which honestly for a series titled, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I really don't see what people expect. Scary stories, that you would tell in the dark. That being said, some of the stories in this series were rather, well, chilling to say the least. In 1993, Sandy Vanderberg, a concerned mother, asked a local newspaper, I quote, "Why are we subjecting our children to this kind of violent material? If these books were movies, they'd be R-rated because of the graphic violence. There's no morale to them. The bad guy always wins." After speaking about the plot of the story Just Delicious, in which a woman steals the liver from a corpse and then feeds it to her husband, the mother said, I quote, "That's sick." I mean, she's not wrong. But again, at what age is it appropriate to get scared? Some kids enjoy being scared, it's a form of entertainment in a sense, the same way going to a horror movie is for us. Who are they to limit that for all children? If you want to not give it to your kids, fine. But all kids? On to number 4, Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss. Given that the estate of Dr. Seuss actually pulled a handful of their own books from publication, citing racial and insensitive imagery, the idea of them pulling another book isn't so far-fetched. That being said, the idea of them pulling the book Hop on Pop because it encourages kids to harm their fathers by quite literally jumping on them, well, that may be pushing a little bit. This book is actually a classic, as it was ranked 16 on the Publishers Weekly's all-time best-selling children's books, and was also one of the teacher's top 100 books for children's picks by the National Education Association. Clearly this one is a complete banger, yet still, dads from Toronto of all places, Toronto, started to complain because the book, I quote, encourages children to use violence against their fathers. The complaint was submitted specifically to a Toronto public library, who decided the request was pretty silly. What's even more silly is that the dads were also demanding, I quote, an apology to fathers in the GTA, Greater Toronto Area, and pay for the damages resulting from the book. What damages? At number 3, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Classic movie, classic book, classic story. Written by L. Frank Baum in the year 1900, this book has actually been the center of a few controversies over the last 120 years or so. Some have cited the fact that it has an, I quote, ungodly influence, while a Chicago public library back in 1928 claimed the book needed to be banned because it was, I quote, not literature, but somehow rather evil for children. Make it make sense, guys. I don't get it. If you think that is absurd, the biggest concern that stood out for me personally was the fact that people felt the novel itself depicted women in strong leadership roles, and that to some was an issue. Now thankfully it seems society as a whole deemed that all those reasons are incredibly stupid, and thus the book hasn't been banned worldwide. But that Chicago library did ban it for a little while, and some Christian families in Tennessee back in 1986 felt the book shouldn't belong in the school syllabus because it shows witches, both the good and the bad. At number 2, The Giver. It's a classic, we all read it in school, at least I did, and yet for some reason people have an issue with it. Then again, it seems people have issues with everything nowadays. Lois Lowry is the author, and following the book's release in 1993, it seems it's been a topic of discussion with people mainly having issues with the age group it's recommended to. And that's fair given that the book does touch on some more serious topics such as losing or taking one's life. It's recommended for grades 5 through 8, which again, I think it's important to educate people on certain things at a young age, this potentially being one of them. In 2003, parents challenged the book as being part of an 8th grade curriculum, citing that the book was lewd and twisted. But are we really that ignorant to what's happening on social media now? Granted, they argued back in 2003, but even then, the internet was pretty accessible to some. I saw things I probably shouldn't see when I was 8. In at number 1, the Goosebumps series. I had almost every book written by R.L. Stine, as my brother was a huge fan, and naturally I just wanted to like whatever he did. And these books were fun. I did so many book reports on them throughout my younger days, as they were fun, engaging, and scary. Like some of the other books on our list, at one point the Goosebumps series was banned by a few parents who felt it was too graphic and scary for their kids. But really anyone who actually read the books growing up weren't as scared as they were, creeped out, unsettled. Some of the stories were just so strange rather than scary, it made you feel something. I don't know what, but I liked it. And there you guys have it for the top 10 children's book that might get banned. Let us know if you guys want a part 2, because with how things have gone over the years, well, I'm afraid the alphabet may get canceled at some point. Alright, for now let's do some comment replies from the video. NFT sells for $69 million, nice, dollars. We need to talk about non-fungible tokens. Madeline Moore said, this is so confusing, but interesting. It is a little confusing. Like, in a nutshell, an NFT is just like a certificate saying you own something and it's yours. Even though anyone else could technically find the exact same thing online, possibly, if it's like a highlight, you have the original one that's yours. It's like a collectible, I guess. Anastasia Zun said, I had to slow down the vid to see the pic he was talking about, 705 at 0.25. It's the picture of like the Buzz Lightyear, what was it? The Buzz Lightyear body, Kim Jong-un's head with Pikachu. We just couldn't show it. I think it was too like lewd for YouTube because, you know, this platform loves to show certain things and then hates to show or talk about others. But that is, yes, it was like a quick flash. So if you guys want to go watch it, check it out. Highlight said, do a video on how to use Bitcoin. If you guys want to see business videos, let us know. I would love to. That's all for this one, guys. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. We'll see you soon. Others point to mysticism, sexual innuendo. Others point to mysticism, sexual I can't say it now. When you see the word, innuendos.